I find that the money and time you invest in yourself will yield the greatest returns.
Hello and welcome to Pillars of Wealth Creation, where we talk about creating financial success with a special focus on business and real estate. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. Now, let's get to it. Hello and welcome back to Pillars of Wealth Creation. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. With me, as always, on these Wednesdays, we got Matt Jones. Matt, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you, Todd?
I'm doing fantastic. And hey, audience, a quick apology prior to, if you hear some background noise, I got some guys installing some cabinets at my house. So you might hear some drills, you might hear some swearing, who knows what you're going to hear, but if you hear it, hey, that's what it is. So sometimes, life happens. That's good. It's good. We're going to roll here. We're going to have a great episode. So Matt, what are we hitting on today?
Well, we're going to be talking about investing in yourself.
Awesome. Well, so, here's the funny thing. I think it's, when we talk investing in yourself, I think a lot of people understand, investing in yourself is important. But what I find interesting, and I think I actually had this bias myself too, when I kind of first started in this business, is I don't want to spend any money. I'm not going to pay to go to a course, to go to a weekend course. I'm not going to pay to go to a conference. I'm not going to pay to have a private mentor. I'm not going to do that stuff. Why would I pay extra money to do that? I can just learn on my own, right? But here's why I think that's so funny and so goofy that we've got this like mentality, and Bigger Pockets pushes it, and there's a decent amount of people that push it. We sit here, we graduate from high school, and what do? We go to college, 2-year, 4-year, some people a lot more, and spend tens of thousands, if not hundreds even of thousands, on school, on education, on bettering yourself. Yet we won't write a check for $2,000 to go to a course, for $5,000, for $15,000, $20,000 to pay for something. We won't spend 50 grand on our business education outside of a college, but we will go ahead and spend 50 grand on a college, no problem. And we do that because this college is accredited. They've got you get a fancy degree, you got a ceremony at the end, all that kind of stuff. So we do that because that's like the norm, and we're okay with it because society has said that's okay. But yet we are willing to pay that extra money to go get educated in what we actually want to strive to do. And again, I kind of had that bias myself because I didn't spend money on that type of stuff early on. I would buy a book, but that's about it. I would maybe go to a conference if it was cheap, but I wouldn't go to one that was expensive. Up until, I don't know, it probably changed for me about 6 years ago. So, and we'll talk about what changed 6 years ago. So Matt, how about you? Like, did you ever have that bias, or like, did you ever feel weird about paying for education, or what was your thought?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have a master's degree, but I mean, when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, I was like, well, this is what the heck am I doing here? There's like another way out there. You don't need, like you said, the fancy college. And real estate is not like rocket science. You don't need all this high level type of stuff per se. You need more practical information and practical experience, right, and connections with people. And so you get that from working with people who are already successful and learning from them. So like college isn't really going to help you. I mean, there's some things that,
I don't want to downplay college. Look, college is good for certain people. It's not for everybody, but honestly, for me, like, would I go back and not do college? No, I'd still do college. I wasn't mature enough. I didn't know what I wanted. I had a lot of fun in college, met a lot of great people. Like I wouldn't go back and not do college. Now, do I use my college degree? No, absolutely not. Would I go for a different degree? Yeah, for sure. But obviously, I didn't know back then. I thought I wanted to be a teacher for my entire career. So I went for a teaching degree. But would I now go for a totally different degree? Absolutely. But do I regret going to college? No, not at all.
Yeah, I guess
How about
the
you?
point,
Do you regret going? Do you wish you would have not gone to college?
I wish I would have stuck with the bachelor's, I suppose. Yeah.
Sure, sure. So because you continued on, you said you got a master's. Uh, Probably wasn't worth it to get a master's, and if I got a master's, I probably would have said the same thing. Like that wasn't worth it.
Yeah. And I think, it's just not needed for real estate, essentially. Like,
Yeah,
and when you're investing in yourself, you got a great point here that college costs a lot of money. And if you're willing to invest that much money in yourself on college, but you want to do real estate, well, you really should, focus instead on investing money on coaches and mentors, on programs that are actually already help other people be successful.
yeah. Spend the money and the time, the effort on something that's going to get you to where you need to be. Um, there's a couple things as a real estate investor or business owner, any business really. I would spend my money and my time and my effort, and it doesn't have to be money. Like yeah, sure. Do I have to pay for an Audible or do I have to pay for a book? Yeah, like I got a book. I got tons of books, Matt, and I've given so many away. So if I didn't give some of those away, I would have to get like a whole nother room for my books. I've read a ton of books. I've listened to a ton of books. I listen to podcasts. So some of those don't have to be pay for. Well, I pay for my books, but they're pretty inexpensive, right?
There's the library too. I mean,
Yeah, and there's a library too. And I've read a lot of books from the library. There's a lot of business and real estate books in the library for me too. So it's not that we have to pay a ton of money for all this stuff. Like get all the free education you can. And actually, I think that's even valuable. Like I mentor people and I won't mentor somebody that hasn't read the books. I will say, you're not ready. Here are the books you need to read and go read those. And then let's talk. I don't want to tell somebody, I don't want to teach somebody the super basics. That's a waste of their time. That's a waste of my time. I feel I've got skills to teach them, but it's not the basics. Like they can learn that from a book, right? So learn everything you can from a book. And then when you're ready, of course, get ready quicker. Then don't hesitate to pay for the education, in my opinion. That's my opinion, at least. And again, like I didn't follow that when I first started at all. And I was anti-paying people right away.
oh yeah, me too. I mean, I was arrogant. I thought I could just do it all on my own and figure it out on my own.
And you can, right? But it takes a lot longer and you probably make a
Mhm.
lot more mistakes.
Yes, exactly.
Right. Yeah. So like I said, get educated, listen. We've got an amazing world out there right now. We have so much information. Quite frankly, it's information overload, Matt. I mean, there's just way too much sometimes, but if you want to focus, you can find out what's out there that's going to actually teach you what you need to know. Focus in on that. And the other thing that I was going to say earlier is, look, you can get really good at your niche. If your niche is real estate and it's multifamily, you can learn all you need to know off of 3 or 4 books. You can listen to podcasts, you can listen to audibles, you can learn everything you need to know on that niche. And then there's the other thing that you really need to work on. And this is something, again, you can read on books, but it's maybe worth even paying for, is mindset. Because this business takes a lot of, in my opinion, a lot of mindset. You're going to shift your paradigm consistently. I mean, you're always going to be stretching your brain. You're always have these limiting beliefs. And if you're not working on who you are, you're not going to be successful. So you always need to be not only learning about the industry, but you need to be learning about how to improve yourself mentally, physically, emotionally. That way you can be a better version of you. And so pretty much every year I listen to, well, I can't even think of the name. I listen to this stupid thing every year. It's by
Think and Grow Rich.
T. Harv Eker.
Oh.
No, the Millionaire Mind.
Secrets, yeah.
Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. I do read Think and Grow Rich, not every year, but I probably read that once every 2 or 3 years. And then there's other books that I sprinkle in there as well that I read. I listen to a lot of podcasts that are about mindset and about improving yourself. So I listen and I change those up quite a bit. Like right now, I've been listening to Ed Milet. I've listened to a lot of different podcasts over the years that are just a little bit mindset hacks. And I think that's super valuable. And I hired a business performance coach, and that was Trevor McGregor. And man, I worked with Trevor for many years, and he's amazing. And I paid Trevor good money, but he was worth every single penny and more. Like I should be just giving Trevor money right now, even though he's not coaching me, because of the shifts, the paradigm shifts, because of just the simple things. A lot of it's simple, by the way, Matt. Like a lot of it's super simple, but your brain is just not pre-programmed. It's been programmed through your lifespan, but it's programmed differently. And having somebody like that that's telling you different things, that's stretching your brain, that's challenging you consistently, man, that has been so powerful. And for me, every time I've paid for a mentor, paid for a mastermind, a course, I've gotten 10x out of it. And it is what it is. You have to put the effort into it, and I put the effort into it. If I'm in a mastermind, I am meeting every single person possible. I'm trying to figure out what they do. I'm trying to figure out what kind of angle how do we fit together potentially. I'm trying to figure out how can we build a relationship. How can I add value to them? That type of thing. If I'm in a mastermind, if I've got a mentor like Trevor, for instance, he tells me to do something, I'm doing it 10 times. The guys who I've coached that have success, the majority of those guys, the more success I see, when I tell them to do something, they're doing it, but they're doing 10 times what I tell them to do. Right. I tell them go read 5 books, these 5 books. And I say, I want you to finish these 5 books in the first 6 months. They read those 5 books in the first 6 days. It's like crazy. Maybe 6 days is, but you know what I'm saying? Like they read those books right away. And then I go, and then they devoured them. They know everything about them. They've read 4 more books already. And it's like, whoa, okay, you're ready. Like you've done the work, and they continue to do it. Do this. Okay. I do it 10 times. Right. And that's how you have to approach your education. And that's how you're going to have this success if you do that.
And I personally, I really like masterminds because, it's a more cost-effective way to get mentorship, but then also you're in a group. So you're learning and making really good connections with other high caliber people as well. So you're all kind of doing better together.
Yeah, there's power of a group for sure. Having like-minded people that are surrounding you is excellent. But I think the biggest challenge with the group is does the group take it serious? How many in the group take it serious? So that's the biggest challenge with the mastermind. And masterminds are great if the group is serious. The masterminds are not great if people aren't showing up. So in my opinion, it depends on who's there and how are they showing up. And that's a challenge. And quite frankly, it's hard to control. Like I can't force somebody to show up to every call. There's no way I can unless I go to their house and put a gun to their head, some people just aren't going to show up. And it sucks because you're counting on them to, because they signed up. They said they're going to be part of it. You're counting on them to be there, counting on them to add value, and then they don't. And that's a disappointment. But, for the most part, I love masterminds. I think they're great. I think it's a great avenue to go. Like you said, it's probably more cost effective typically. And I think you really build good, strong relationships, which could be partnerships, which could be referrals, whatever that might be. So it's some sort of collaboration though.
And I know the prices vary pretty widely with masterminds and with like coaching and mentorship. What sort of price range can people expect to pay?
Dude, I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, they vary wildly, Matt. I mean, I got a call from a group the other day, or an email from a group the other day, and kind of set up a call to find out what they're all about. And that was a group, and they were only charging $1,700 a year. Now, do I feel that's a lot? They're providing a lot of value. I'm not so sure yet, but it's only $1,700 a year. There's another group I looked at pretty recently, and that's $30,000 a year. And that doesn't include, any travel. That doesn't include any, they've got a once a year they meet together physically, and that does not include any of that. That's on top of it. So it's going to cost you about $40,000 by the time you're done. I know another group, I don't qualify for it yet. Your net worth has to be 100 million. But that group, I believe, is $100,000 a year to join that group. So there's all kinds of variety, anywhere from $1,000 to $100,000 and probably more to join a mastermind. Or, Matt, by the way, you can form your own mastermind, and it's probably not going to be free, because unless you don't do anything, you're still going to spend money. But you could you could create your own mastermind and, have it for fairly cheap. But the challenge, of course, with your own mastermind is you got to find the right people to fit in it that are going to take it serious. And quite frankly, when something's free, and that here's the issue, Matt, with this one that I talked about, that was, I think it was like 1750, or I can't remember, whatever. Not important. The one that was cheaper. Here's the issue. When I sign up for that, if I did, it's only 1750. Not that much money. When they have a meeting and I've got something else going on, what am I going to choose? The meeting or that other thing going on? Right? It's honestly like, it depends on what's going on, right? I might go to the meeting, I might go to whatever else is going on. But if I'm paying $30,000, I'm going to go to the meeting. I'm going to make sure that's in my schedule every single month, week, whatever they meet. And I'm going to be there, and I'm going to show up, and I'm going to put my energy into it. And I'm going to make sure I get every little last penny out of that deal, because I spent 30 grand on it. That's a lot of freaking money. And so I'm a pretty driven person. If I'm going to do that, everybody else that signed up and paid $30,000 is likely going to show up. They might not show up quite as much as me. Some people will show up more, but most people, the vast majority, are going to show up.
Yeah, it's just, how much value do you put into it? It's how much value you're going to get out.
Yeah.
And I think the vast majority, if not all, top successful people have some kind of mentorship or coaching in their lives. And so that tells you, like, if you want to be a top performer as well, you also need that.
Look, if you're a basketball fan, Michael Jordan was the best basketball player probably ever to live, right? You could argue there's other people, sure, but Michael Jordan is certainly one of the best. Tom Brady, one of the best quarterbacks ever to live. Likely the best, but whatever. Argue with me. I don't care. Wayne Gretzky, probably the best hockey player. A couple people could maybe fit in there with him, but again, one of the best. What do they all have in common? They all had coaches. They all had personal trainers. They all have people in their life directing them, right? They all have people in their life leading them. Wayne Gretzky did not become the best hockey player in the world on his own. Somebody helped him get there. And by the way, when he got there, when he was the best, he was still being coached. Same thing with Jordan. Same thing with all these with Brady, with all these high performance athletes. They all have coaches, and multiple coaches, by the way. They don't just have the coach. They have trainers. They have health coaches. They've got all kinds of coaches in their life helping and guiding them along the way. That's how my mindset has changed, right? It used to be, I can get there on my own. I can figure it out, right? And then I realized, as I look around and I see these high performance business owners, I see these high performance athletes, they all have one thing in common, and that's they have people that they surround themselves with to help them get to where they're going. And they realize they're not the best at everything. And they realize they can learn something from every person that they come in contact with. They check their arrogance at the door, right? And they realize they can learn. And that's what they have in common. And I'm like, oh, whoa, I need to do that, because I'm certainly not the best real estate investor. I'm certainly not the best father, not the best husband. Like, I can improve in my life. And so, man, I need to check my ego at the door, and I need to figure out how to surround myself with people that are smarter than me, figure out how to surround myself with people that can help me along the way. And again, some of it's paid, some of it's free, some of it's just relationships you build, but it's listening and it's being aware that you always can improve yourself.
I find that the money and time you invest in yourself will yield the greatest returns.
Yep. Yeah, man. Like I said, 6 years ago, like this, I don't know, this like light bulb went off, and that was when I was like, wow, these high performance athletes, these high performance business owners, like the people that I'm like, I'd like to get there. They got coaches, they got mentors, they're like educating themselves daily. They're reading books. They're listening to podcasts. They're like doing all that stuff. And I'm like, that must be an ingredient. Like, that must be a big ingredient, because they're all doing it. And so I need to stop thinking I know everything and I'm really smart, and just go, you know what? I don't know anything, and I got to learn a lot to become better. And it's funny because 6 years ago, not that I was doing bad, I was doing pretty good, but where I've went over the last, 5-6 years has been 10x where I was prior to. And I attribute a lot of that to just being willing to be educated, be willing to allow myself to be coached and listen.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Cool, man. Well, go out there, be smart. Don't be too smart, though. Don't think you're too smart. Get educated and keep on learning. Like, learning is a lifelong journey, right? If you're not learning, if you're not trying to push yourself to the next level, if you're not growing, you're dying. That's as simple as that. So, all right, man. Well, that's all I got for today. You got anything else?
No, that's it.
All right, man. Well, Matt, you have a fantastic rest of the day, and listeners, have a fantastic rest of the day, and make every day a Saturday. Hey, thanks so much for listening. I appreciate you being a loyal listener. I would love to have you go on to our Facebook page and subscribe, give us a thumbs up, go on to iTunes or wherever you listen and give us a rating and review. Don't forget to subscribe. Your rating and review just helps us push this out to more and more people and continue to grow our audience and hopefully positively affect a ton of people out there that really need this and want this. So the other thing I've got for you is a free ebook on my website. So go on to venturedproperties.com, and download our free ebook on real estate and on syndication. And I've got some data points in there, some really good stuff for you. So I'd love to have you take a look at that. It's free. I'm not expecting anything from it. And also, look, if you want some help in multifamily, want some help learning, growing, getting your business off the ground, I would love to talk to you about what it would look like to work with me potentially and see if that's a good fit. So you can go to coachwithdex.com and check that out, and we can definitely have a call. Thanks a lot for listening. You make it a fantastic rest of the day. I'll catch you on the next episode.